Getting there. Hello.
Hi.
Hold on, I'm admitting people. One moment.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Cynthia, am I just admitting everyone?
Yes, please. Hopefully there's not a joker in there.
Okay. Hello.
Hi, everyone.
I hope everyone got outside to enjoy the nice weather today.
Cynthia, we're still eating, so we're off screen until we're done. But we're here.
That sounds like a good idea. Fair enough.
How is it? I only tried the bread roll, and that was really good.
It's delicious. And as soon as we opened the box after heating it up, it was like going back in time. It smells just like chicken a la king, which I don't think I've had since I left home. Who cooked it?
It's a catering company in Wells. It's called For the Love of Food and Drink. It's actually the same guy who did the 18th century dinner.
That explains why it's so good.
Oh, actually, I should take this moment to, as people sign on, I'm just noticing it says recording. So we're automatically recording this meeting, obviously just for eternity. So if you don't want to be on camera, I would turn your camera off.
Cynthia, should I mute people?
Yeah, sure.
That I don't want to hear from everyone, but when people are talking, I'll mute people.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Welcome.
I just wanted to test my voice if everybody could hear me. So,
Sounds good.
yeah, good. Yeah.
People can unmute.
Hey, Rob, I've got to tell you, you're looking very James Carville-like with your perched on the back of your head. I like the look.
Oh, no.
That's it, yes.
Hello, Ted.
Hi. Yeah, what a nice group here. More pleasant to be here than watching the TV today, I'll tell you. The TV news. That was a great dinner, by the way.
Oh, good.
You ate already?
Yeah, ate a good weight. You know, it was so delicious.
It looks good.
Yeah, it looks good, and it was good. Yeah.
Oops, I'm supposed to mute myself, huh?
That's okay.
Okay.
Who is Samsung SM
I'm not sure.
G93? Yeah.
Meet him. Hello, Dave.
Afternoon.
Hello, David.
Ted?
So I think we just have like another minute or so and we'll get started.
Can't help but have the Brady Bunch theme songs going through my head.
That'll help.
Yeah.
It's a story. Wow.
Me, it's more like laughing.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one.
Somebody said it was like the Muppet Show where it used to start out and they had all the character, the Muppets, and the anyway. So that
Yeah, that's right.
another picture of a Zoom meeting.
It all goes with the 20th century theme too.
There you go. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Do we know who's on the phone? The Samsung?
Not sure.
I don't know.
Okay.
It could be Cindy.
Oh, right.
Does it
She
show a
always
number?
uses her phone, and she said she doesn't join with video because she has to take notes.
Not sure what that was. Oh. Another phone.
Oh, I think that's Cindy.
Oh, okay.
It's Cindy Sayers. How are you?
Hi, Cindy.
Are all the trustees on? Maybe not.
She's counting.
I'm feeling like we're missing somebody, but that might not be true. I know that I don't think that Gerhard's going to be joining us, and Chris Spofford is on a fire training this evening.
Thank you.
Hello, Cynthia.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Very well. How about yourself?
Pretty good.
Oh, that's good.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, how are you, Wendy?
I'm well, thank you. This
Well,
makes
that's
this,
good. You look terrific.
oh, thank you. So do you.
Well, life's good, you know, despite all that's going on. It's actually been pretty good.
Good. Are you in Lubec or Canada?
No, well, I'm in Lubec. We can't cross the border, so that's been one of the hard things this year. You know, I can see Campobello across the water, and the dog can see it too, and we both miss our walks over there. But we're having a pretty good time.
Good.
So are you out on the boat much?
Yes, we're going tomorrow,
Good.
bright and early. And season's been a lot better than we thought. This is lobstering.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Rough seas here today.
Yeah, we were off water 2 or 3 days this week, and I've been doing a lot of kayaking, not much boogie boarding because I didn't want to go to the beach because
Yeah.
too many people. But a lot of time on the water. It's good.
Good. Oh, I'm glad.
So as we have people signing on here, I think in the final few minutes, I'll just repeat what I said before, just for those who, for those who are joining. This meeting is being recorded, just so we have it here at the museum for eternity. So if you don't want to be on camera, you can turn your camera off by going to the bottom left corner of your screen. We're going to have time for questions at the end. You probably noticed you may have been muted by our host. That's not for being rude, but you're welcome to unmute. Welcome to unmute if number one, if you can't hear somebody, and number two, at the end, we left some time for questions in case anybody has some questions. When we're voting this evening, we have a couple things to vote on right at the beginning of the meeting. So we're asking people to use the little reactions tab that, again, you can find at the bottom of your screen in the menu, where you just hit the little kind of hand wavy yellow thing. Maybe I can do it now. Or the thumbs up. So it'll look like that. To vote, and then we'll ask for those who are on the phone or not with their camera on, we'll ask for a verbal acknowledgement as well. And then don't forget also to follow along in your digital annual report that you received over email.
And also got a paper copy of if we had that beautiful dinner.
That's right. Yes, if you are dining tonight, thank you very much for supporting the museum and for participating in the 20th century dinner.
How was it?
Delicious.
It's after.
Absolutely delicious. If the cold chicken a la king, you think, oh, okay. But no, it was really good.
I've had the salad and it was fantastic. That was the first step for us. Really good.
We are on this case, Republican Attorney General Daniel Cameron announcing.
Okay, so David, since the clock just struck 6 here at the museum, and I know we're a little delayed at the museum, I think we should go ahead and get started.
All right. Well, thank you, Cynthia. On behalf of the dedicated board of directors, the staff and volunteers, I'd like to welcome you to the 80th annual and first Zoom digital annual meeting of the Brickstore Museum. I'm honored to lead such a dedicated group of staff and volunteers, and I'm always amazed at how well this team functions and the unbelievable things they achieve. The purpose of the annual meeting is usually to review the past year, to let you know where we have been. And we'll do that a little later. However, in light of the extraordinary challenges in 2020, the board felt it was more important to let you know where we are now, which will hopefully put your minds at ease. Whoever said hindsight is 2020 must have known something, because I'm really looking forward to putting 2020 in my rearview mirror. In March, the board took action to assure our staff that they are one of our most important and valuable assets. We voted to maintain staffing and compensation levels throughout the crisis. We wanted to put their minds at ease so they could focus on the mountainous tasks ahead. In April, Cynthia, our treasurer, Chris Penfield, and Rob Job stepped up to revise our budget using 3 different scenarios, all of which significantly lowered our expectations for 2020. We knew that to be fiscally responsible, we needed to plan the worst. I greatly appreciated their efforts, since at the time, Like all Maine commercial loan officers, I was working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week to process Paycheck Protection Program loans to help Southern Maine businesses survive. The Brickstore Museum is not only surviving, but thriving. I'm extremely pleased to report that through successfully obtaining a number of grants, securing a Paycheck Protection loan from Kennebunk Savings, and a generous increase in our annual giving, the Brickstore is on track to potentially meet our original pre-crisis budget. The financial news is good, but the transformation of the museum into the digital world is nothing short of amazing. I cannot express enough gratitude to the staff and the volunteers who took a worldwide crisis and instead of putting things on hold and slowing down, they turned up the volume and digitally let everyone know that the Brickstore Museum is alive and well. Cynthia and her team of dedicated staff and volunteers adapted quickly to a tough situation, identified opportunities, and transformed our museum to become accessible to anyone who wants to visit, no matter where they are in this rapidly changing digital world. If we were meeting in person, I would have asked for a round of applause for Cynthia, the staff, and all our awesome volunteers. But since this is Zoom, I would like to take a few seconds for each of you to reflect on the incredible transformation of the Brickstore Museum, while also taking a minute to pay tribute to our past president and friend, Stephen Spofford, who would have been so proud of what we have accomplished during this crisis. Thank you. We do plan on honoring Steve at a time when we can again get together all in person, but anyway, we'll get to that hopefully when this crisis gets behind us. So throughout the crisis, the Brickstore Museum has held true to our mission to ignite personal connections to local history, art, and culture through exhibitions, education, and programs celebrating the human experience in the Kennebunks and its surrounding communities, and now in the digital world. To keep this meeting moving along, we need to take care of a few business items. I would appreciate a motion from the floor to waive the reading of the minutes and accept the minutes as presented in the packet you received.
So moved.
I have a motion moved. Do I have a second? I have a second from Wendy. Thank you. All in favor, give me a thumbs up, please.
Come on.
Okay, I'm going along. I'm seeing who's thumbing up. That's pretty good. All right, thank you.
I can't find, mine didn't show. There it is. Okay, up above.
Okay, so, and then for those, we got the thumbs up. Any opposed? So, and then for those who are on the telephone, can we unmute and find out, hear a yay or a nay from anyone who's called in? Hearing, I'll give a minute on mute. So, hearing no opposition, the motion carries, and now I'd like to turn the program over to Amy Tyson, Chair of our Nominating Committee, to present the new trustees and slate of officers for the coming year.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. As Dave said, I'm Amy Tyson, and I head the Nominating Committee. It's been an exciting year for the Nominating Committee. We've had a lot of interest in helping the museum further its mission. The following individuals have been nominated for a 2-year term. Please welcome Jill Roberts, a paralegal and resident in Kennebunk, Lucille Gensch, an educator with a master's in library sciences, Chris Spofford, a resident of Kennebunk and a construction consultant, and Jacqueline Chauvin, mother of 3 and an educator with a talent for crafting. More information about each trustee can be found in the annual report. Do I hear a motion to elect these individuals to the Board of Trustees?
So moved.
Thank you, Ted. All in favor? Any opposed? Any vocal in favor or opposed? You figured out the mute button?
Favor.
Thank you. All right. Wonderful. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank Gerhard Schwebler for his service on the board. We look forward to seeing him at future events. The next item of business is to vote on the slate of our current Board of Trustee officers. The following officers have been nominated for a one-year term. David Moravec, President, Bruce Jackson, Vice President, Cindy Sayers, Secretary, and Chris Penfield as Treasurer. Do I hear a motion to elect this slate for the year 2020 to 2021?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Lucille. All in favor? Any opposed? Any verbal in favor or opposed? All right, thank you very much. I'll now turn the stage over to Chris Penfield with the Treasurer's report.
So that would have been awfully embarrassing to not get voted in as treasurer and then have to follow up and actually present in the last year. So I'm glad we got that taken care of. We're gonna get fancy and try and share screens. So give me a minute. Just because what's more fun than listening to numbers other than watching them at the same time? Yes. Well, someone named the host has disabled my screen sharing ability, Cynthia.
Okay, so Leanne, which I can't find on the screen.
I'm right here.
Perfect.
I'm going to make you the host real quick, Cynthia.
Sure. Okay.
Maybe that'll help.
Let's see.
You make Chris a co-host.
Ooh, thank you.
That's dangerous.
Let me find Chris.
I still got nothing.
We're working on it.
Okay, try it now.
All right. How'd that work?
Good.
Looks good.
All right. So just a real quick highlight of where the financials stood as of the end of 2019. As you can see here, we just have a 3-year view of the balance sheet. We ended 2019 with assets of a little bit under 2.4 million. That's some pretty strong growth compared to the end of 2018. That's largely driven by the performance of our endowment, which David Hines will get into shortly after I wrap up. But those of you who pay attention to such things may recall the end of 2018 saw a very precipitous drop, followed by a very strong rebound in 2019. So as you can see, we just had about a $500,000 growth in the assets, largely due to that. Profit and loss summary. Again, we have a 3-year history here. Just kind of reading down. So total income for 2019 was the highest that we've had in the 3-year period at 261. Total expenses for that same period was about 285,000. That more or less met our expectations for the year, and is a credit to Cynthia really for both being so detail oriented in her record keeping and her expectations for the year, making my job extraordinarily easy, simply just reporting on what's happened. So kudos to you, Cynthia. So net ordinary income for 2019 of negative 30,000, better than 2018, a little bit worse than 2017. These other extraordinary items are technically below the line expenses. Other income, that largely is our endowment performance, and other expenses are some repairs that came from campaign expenses. So the number we really focus on is this bold line here of a negative 30,000 ordinary income. Some other highlights. So just to break out the income numbers, the largest number is grant revenue, which again is a credit to Cynthia and her team for working so hard there. Kudos to every one of you. Also, the annual giving campaign was very successful in 2019, and as Dave highlighted, it's been greatly successful this year. So thank you very much for all of that. And you can see all the other lines that make up the majority of our income. Again, expenses were really very close to what we had budgeted. I can't express my appreciation enough to Cynthia and her team for doing such a great job sticking to that, but also putting so much thought into the year-end budget process as we plan for the next year. There was a couple unexpected expenses, which I mean, they're unexpected, but you can expect to have unexpected expenses. We had about $28,000 of repairs in Dane Street. We had about $10,000 in technology improvements, which I think we're all very grateful for now. Not having known, we'd all be stuck at home and relying on technology. And then the one thing you can never account for in New England is what the weather's going to do. And for 2019, we ended up going over our oil budget by about 50% because it was too darn cold. So you gotta pay to heat the place. So that is what I have for you. And I believe next on the list is David Hines. Cynthia, do you need me to give you any power back?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want to hand back the hosting duties, I will take that.
That's putting a lot on me on the spot.
So if you click on the three dots to the top right of my head, or left, I guess, as you're looking at it, maybe right.
That's fine. Here we go.
It'd say make host.
Ah, beautiful. There you go.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so David Hines, are you on here? I can't see if you are. Well, Chris, would you mind speaking a little bit to the endowment as it's doing today?
So you saw in my highlight just the overall value. So 2019 was a fantastic year for the stock market. I think the equity market returned about 33% for the S&P 500, which in any year is fantastic. Our endowment is composed of anywhere between 50 to 60% equity exposure at any given time, depending on the tactical allocation that David and his team are implementing. About 30%, and then about 30 to 40% of high quality bonds, just to give us some immediate liquidity should any emergencies arise. And then there's always a lot of cash kind of on the side just to use as dry powder if they see opportunities in either the equity and the bond market. So through 2019, as I mentioned, you saw about $500,000 of growth. Some of that was just making up what we had lost at the end of 2018. At this time last year, at the fourth quarter, we were reporting the equity markets being down about 20% just in that time period alone. So we did have to make some of that back, but David and his team did a great job doing that. And then again, far exceeding, I think, anyone's expectations for the year. So one of the things that we felt really strongly and confident about as the COVID-19 hit and as the kind of stock market got a little tumultuous was the fact that David and his team really focused on high quality companies in the stock market and high quality liquid bonds and on that side of the table. So even if we were to see some volatility, we had plenty of cash on the side. We had plenty of good companies that were going to come through this much better than some of the high-flying growth names that you might find in some of these hedge funds or more aggressive strategies. So great year 2019 all around, and then for 2018, for 2020, we've made it through that volatile period and are positive for this year as well at this point. So.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Chris, for stepping in. Appreciate it. Can you take Okay, so I think it is my turn giving the director's report. And amazingly, it looks like we're slightly ahead of schedule, at least on my clock, so that's grand. Let me see one thing. Okay. So since I only have a little bit of limited time here today, I hope everyone took the time to review the annual report delivered virtually this year. Again, it can be found in your email if you haven't seen it already. It lists the major accomplishments and program offerings and projects going on. All things that I would have mentioned if we had more time, but because we're really proud of those things. But tonight I want to spend my few minutes thanking you and looking ahead. If you take a gander again at the annual report, you'll see that we had great expectations for a big year with Kennebung's bicentennial. We were really excited, and then all of a sudden everything went quiet. So like many of you, we stalled for a moment or two and not knowing what to do or how to help. And then our fantastic museum staff, Leanne, Juliana, Janine, and Alex, and volunteers who I will mention more of in a moment, started up again, working remotely but together, to basically barn raise a digital learning center, which now offers more programming than a typical year would do. The website serves about 1,500 people a month in pursuit of history, which is very exciting for us. And with our reopening in July to minimal attendance, we know now that our future includes both in-person engagement and virtual programming. The trick is how to now balance the quality and quantity of both with the same amount of staff and volunteers. So that's why you might notice if you've been looking through the annual report that I slipped in a volunteer form at the end of the booklet. If you can't see my screen, I'm winking. And you're welcome to volunteer. Granting foundations have been hugely supportive, of general operating costs this year specifically, allowing staff to focus on creating this virtual programming while also keeping the lights on at the museum. Hopefully, this marks a lasting shift in the charitable giving strategies of major foundations as they really fuel the future by doing that. Another major component of barn raising at this small institution are volunteers. With 2 full-time staff and 2 part-time, over 80 volunteers have donated their time, skill, expertise, and especially patience to the museum each day to carry out our mission every year. We recently celebrated our volunteers virtually, as we've all been doing. And if we were all in the same room, just as Dave had said previously, I would ask for a round of applause for these folks who give so much and request nothing in return. So please just hear an imaginary applause for you as we go forward. That brings me to announcing the induction of a longtime volunteer into our lifetime member category. Mimi Malkasian started volunteering here at the museum in 2004. Making her the longest serving weekly volunteer next to Catherine Huzzy, who is our volunteer registrar. For 16 years, Mimi has presided over the museum's welcome desk and membership program. She's an amazing editor, she's a friend to all, and she's one of the kindest people that you will ever meet. I'm pretty sure she'll reject what I'm saying, but if you've ever received a membership renewal with beautiful handwriting on it, you've heard from Mimi. And she's been a major driver behind many of the museum's programs, projects, and development work for over a decade. So I'm sending my thanks to both Mimi and all of our dedicated volunteers for all of the amazing work that you do for the museum. I also want to make a special shout out to our business members and event sponsors, as this year was particularly hard for all of us. So thank you to you for continuing to support the work of the museum. And for those watching, if you encounter these businesses, which you can again find in the annual report during your own travels around town, please say thank you to them for us, because that would mean so much. I also want to take a moment to mention an opportunity for a community event that's ending soon. So early in the pandemic, the museum partnered with the Historical Society of Wells Ogunquit to put on a virtual walk and run for the bicentennial. And thank you to everyone who's already signed up and completed your miles. To everyone else, there's still time. You just have to complete your 7-mile distance. You can split it up or run it all at once before October 17th. So you have a couple weeks to go. You can go on our webpage and read more about how to get all that done. I want to thank each and every person, whether you've contributed $1 or $1,000, 1 minute or 1 day a week, or anything else in between. This museum is fueled by your passion and dedication to our shared history. I hope that you can look at the list of achievements this year and feel proud of this work, and that we continue to be a cause that you believe in. Lastly, personally, I'd like to thank the Board of Trustees and especially President Dave Moravec for his seemingly unending patience, for investing so much time and skill in leading this institution to the vibrant place that we all share. It's fitting that this year is 2020. The metaphor for perfect vision is not lost on anyone, I don't think. And it's helped us at the museum really to slow down and mark 4 pillars of our work that are most integral to what we do, and be able to focus more on those 4 pillars, which is increasing access, inclusive history, teaching the next generation, and community engagement. In closing, I'd like to ask for a favor of you. The museum is beginning its strategic planning for the next 5 years, and we hope that you make your voice heard and your opinions heard. We've just published a digital survey, which you can get to through a link on the annual report, once again, or via our website, to share your ideas and your concerns and your thoughts so we can better shape the future for our shared museum. This year will not break any records, and the budget is not going to be perfect. The reward this year is growing closer to what's important and celebrating you, who give so much to the museum and in turn the community. We're so lucky to know you and to learn from you, and I thank you. Okay, I think that is all for the for the presentations, but if anyone has a question, you are more than welcome to unmute yourself and ask away.
I don't have a question, but I would like to congratulate all of you on doing such a phenomenal job. I've talked to a number of people who are involved in other museums, smaller and larger, and it has been a really difficult year. And I'm just so proud to be associated with the Brickstore Museum. You guys are like leading the pack. You might not know it, but you are leading the pack. And especially I want to thank Cynthia, because when I read the letter that you wrote in the annual report, I was in the car and I read to my fiance David, I started to get teary, because you really hit the essence of what this year has been like for so many institutions and for so many of us.
Thank you, Wendy. That's very kind. I don't want to cut anybody off here. So if there's no other questions or comments, which were very kind, we're going to go into, I guess, the entertainment portion of the evening. If you don't want to remain on the Zoom meeting, you are welcome to leave at this moment. Because I will say, if you are looking forward to seeing the concert later, the 20th Century concert by Monica Graben and Dana Pearson. This is a special viewing tonight, just for all of you folks on our Zoom call, but it will also be premiering officially for the public to see with our 20th Century Saturday portal, which is this Saturday, the 26th, and you will be able to see it whenever you like right on our website. So without further ado, I will stream that video right up here for you. And I want to thank you from all of us here at the museum for everything that you do and for joining us this evening. Hi, everyone. I'm here to introduce some very special friends of the museum. Monica Graben and Dana Pearson, both museum members, but also incredible musicians and entertainers,